let's do that without all the crap, because you can't see everything anyway. So, this is going to be Mr. Mighty Joe. He's playing Ullr, and he went in this game, 39-minute game, he lost. He went 7, 5, and 12, and he's currently in Plat 3. How do you think you played? I thought my overall performance was very good, dealt good damage and held lane very well despite bad start. Okay, so we can look at the bad start. What aspects of the game did you struggle with? Early game laning phase, my Ares did not help feeding first blood and being very passive. I feel I also got caught out as well. Okay. Team fights, what aspects of the game do you feel comfortable with? Well, I was comfortable in the team fights were strong. I felt my rotations were quite good despite going against an Apollo. Okay, so we've got a rough understanding of how this game's going to play out, and we watch it so we can go through and see how this one is. So you're playing Ullr, and at the start of the game you're going to be going for the Transcendence, which is normal, which one thing you need to always realise when you're playing against the other hunters who will probably go Devourer's Gauntlets, is that you're probably going to be behind in terms of damage until you get your Transcendence online and stacked, and that's when you will out-trade them in terms of damage, but they'll have better sustain. Now generally with Ullr you want to be getting a Transcendence anyway just because of the mana, so the item build is technically okay there. So start the game, aggression comes out, you walk right up to him, smash him in the face. You're not staying at max range here. For the most part, you should be staying at max range. In the end, you're actually pushing up right up to his face to try and get him range for these autos. And in doing so, it puts you in a bad spot. You've not got your jump. So that level 1 fight wasn't greatest thing in the world for you, but you get out thanks to nice play with your axe and hitting the right target. Now you're at max range, but if you continue chasing, you could get yourself in a bad spot. What you should be looking to do here is probably go back to base, get your mana online, back to full, or get extra gold. You didn't get first blood, did you? Who got the first blood for you? I need to change that as well before I continue. Can't be having it saying thirst when it's not thirst. Silly Hindu. But that fight at the start was kind of crazy. But the axe helped you out and you did secure a kill. Did you not get first blood? Is that the issue that happened there? I'm guessing that is the issue. You didn't get first blood, they got first blood onto the Ares, that's why. Okay. But you traded back, so you didn't have enough gold for the boots. Go back and pick up. But, going to start the buff off. Ares is going to turn up, give him aggro. Give him aggro. That's better. As soon as he takes aggro, just back out of it, give him aggro back. You've lost all your sustain in this lane, so you're going to be in a bit of a disadvantage in this one already. Already had to use your health potion because of the engage you did. You're going to have to place one even more passive than you already did. You are level 2 though, thanks to that kill, which has helped you out a lot. Be careful on trying to use... This is one thing a lot of you guys didn't really hurt you, especially if you're behind on health like you are. You use your bladed arrow through all the minions when he was studying them, so the minions gave you some aggression back and you took free poke, which you don't really want at this stage of the game when you're low on health. Now you're going to back away, respect his range. Why are we throwing out axes? Why are we trying to trade? Why are we trying to trade? And this is why you're probably going to go down here. If you do live, it's lucky, but your decision there was not a good decision. And that's why you deserve to die. In fairness, when we look back at this one, let me find you on the game again so we can... Right. I know where you are now, so we can follow you and see exactly what... So, in this trade, you should be looking to kill the minions alone. You should not be looking to fight or trade with these two guys at all. You focus on the minions, your mate turns up and you start backing away. This is the good part of the game. Here's the bad part of the game. Right now, you've switched into axe stance, and you decide to go for an axe instead of just jumping away. He's already used his dash, so he's got no further attempt at closing the gap on you. But what you choose to do is trade. You're trading. This is not a good trade. We saw this. Your axe misses, and you try and turn around again to continue going aggressive. End up using your leap late, and you still pay the price for it. If you would have done exactly like the pros did here, Joe, and instead of switching to axe stance, which is what you do, and throwing the axe out, if you would have just jumped away the moment you switched to axe stance, you would have been safe, and you would have lived. And if you continued going aggressive, you could have thrown an axe in his face and just walked back to tower and been safe. Instead, you stuck around, and you paid with it with your life. Just like the pros when we watch the pro games, don't go overly aggressive if the trade's not there. If you're losing the trade, back out. Don't continue trying to do the trade. So now you lose a full minion wave of experience now, and that sets them back up for being in a better position against you.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
So you see the speed buff invade, and this is good play from you. The minion wave is reset at the moment, so you're not missing an experience right now. The difference is that Apollo's level 4 and you're level 3, and that's because you lost that fight and you lost that 4 minion wave to tower. Now you have a couple of opportunities here. You don't know where Poseidon is right now, you don't know where Thor is. All you have on this side of the map is Giannis and Ares. Ares at the start of the game hasn't had the greatest of starts, but neither have you, and you're technically behind in this lane. Can you really stop this speed buff invade? Well, you can, but it's about positioning and how you want to play this one out. Stay at max range, get the poke off, don't continue chasing. Good, you could have leapt over the wall then, you chose not to. Back to lane and farm, don't miss your experience. Problem is, you use a lot of mana for that little engagement where you didn't get a kill. Don't feel you have to use all your CC all the time to keep people pinned. Just look at farming and just poking with your auto attacks. Your auto attacks will do good damage. Now, because you used all that mana against Ymir, you're very, very defensive in this lane. You're not going to be able to wave clear very effectively, as this one pushes all the way into tower once again, so you have to back all the way up. See how your one doesn't do anything just yet, because you're too low on mana, and you don't have much going on for you. Good little poke there. The poke was good, because they were overextended in your minion wave, but still, good job staying backed up. You've got no mana to really do anything. You're just looking to farm. Just looking to farm.
Your right tower is under attack.
Now, when you're under tower pressure, and a lot of people don't do this, which they really should, and I talk about this quite a lot in this, but when you're under tower pressure, when you back up to the tower, hitting these frontline minions is not a good idea, because you're not going to be able to kill either of these two minions unless you prioritize them before they get to the tower. However, what it does mean is that these back archer minions are the ones that are killable while these minions are tanking up the front line. The tower will aggro the nearest minions to it, so it will always aggro the melee minions for the most part, unless there's an archer minion stuck in the wave somewhere. So you want to be looking at killing the back ones. You prioritize these front ones here, and so they both die, and now you're going to lose experience from all of these minions. You might get that last one. Nope. You lost every single minion in gold there. Every single minion of gold was lost to the tower because you prioritize the front ones and not the back ones. And that will put a further lead in favour of this Apollo in terms of gold. So when you look at the deficit right now between the two of you, 101, 2.8k, 2500 between it, 300 gold difference right now. Did he get the first blood? I think he did, might have been the reason, but on top of, no, he killed you, didn't he? So that's the reason there. He killed you, but the 300 gold difference is some of this wave that you missed earlier on, and you're letting full minion waves die to the tower and you're not getting gold from them.
Your right tower is under
Good decision to tank this wave up for the most part. There's no reason not to tank this wave up, but you need to be basing now. As an option there that was available to you, with this full minion wave being here and him basing back to base, the moment he goes back to base here, if you switch stance to lifesteal with your axes, you'll get physical lifesteal off your auto attacks, be able to bring these ones down, sustain yourself enough to be able to go and push the next wave before Apollo gets back, and then when you go back to base, you can base after farming the next minion wave. You've got more time in base to spend. It was an option, it's not something you have to do, but if you went axe stance here, you could have sustained a little bit better off this minion wave, and you could have pushed the next minion wave too before Apollo got back. In the end, you're going to base, you're going to have to base very, very quickly and buy. Working on Transcendence, one ward picked up, good to see. Just like the pros, you're picking up wards, which is important.
your middle tower is
We'll see where you place the ward as time goes on. Straight back to the farm. Now, your blue buff's under aggression as well, but you're prioritising the minions, making sure they don't go into tower range, which is good decision so far. Get all these minions, lovely job. Blue buff is next thing online, get over there for the experience. Good, good, good. And the aggression comes out. You didn't use your axe to jump in, which is good. You're poking the near target. The call might have been for Ymir there, but is he the real damage dealer? Will you jump in? Nope, you'll pick him up. So that was nicely done overall, but now you're going to have to go into the Apollo who's full health. Good axe to the face, forced out the moves. Unfortunately, the moves wasn't on cooldown, unfortunately, it was just before it went off. Keep the aggression on, not too much, nicely done. Really good play from Loki overall that helped you out there. But I like your decision to go aggressive but sustained aggression. You didn't dive in with all your abilities straight away onto the Ymir, you stayed at your maximum range.
your right tower.
One of the big tricks of a lot of old players will they'll dive into your face and throw an axe, but then everything's on cooldown. If they miss the axe, they're in a bad spot.
My swift arrow. Your right tower is under attack.
So once again, farming as much as possible. My bad as well, before someone just mentioned to me in chat that when you were in the tower range and I told you to tank it up and lifesteal off them, you weren't actually rank 5, so I'll point that one out. That was a correction from my end. Apologies for that. But that was an option available to you if you so had your level 5 skill.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Good decision to bounce base there. You're not going to miss anything in the middle, in the wave. Plus, you've got Transcendence, and I like the fact you've gone straight into beads, so you've got some actives online. Especially against the Ymir, this is really smart. You are against a Poseidon as well, so you're going to have to deal with Poseidon's Kraken to make sure you position very, very well, or use your beads and jump out of the Kraken immediately.
Right into my trap.
Good decision to trade because you won the trade. The trade was good because you won it. And you can continue doing it where you got the opportunity, but now you should be focusing on minions again. Because now you're going to try and poke and get forced back to lane. Good. You just push back. Don't overly aggress. It was a very, very good trade for you overall. And this is where you'll start coming ahead of Apollo in terms of damage. If you check your 2 item builds right now, he may be ahead on his boots right now. However, these stacks and this is slowly starting to catch up. You'll slowly start out damaging him overall. Always keep an eye on his items so we know he's got beads now. So if you can throw an axe out and try and bait out these beads now and again, it might be worthwhile, but just keep an eye on your mana for it, because it hurts. Farm, 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 farm. Back away. You see, notice the difference here with how this fight played out.
Right tower is under attack.
When these two hunters, when we looked at the pros were stood all the way back here, pretty much. They weren't stood as close as they are to each other, especially without vision of where everybody else is. So they've got no vision of, you've got no vision of where anybody is right now. And when the other hunters, the pro players, were playing, once the minion wave was dead, they rotated into the jungle around here, back into lane. Sometimes they did a loop around here if they wanted to. If they were pushed up to where you were here, they'd rotate this way and come back to the lane, just walk into the jungle and come back round. What you choose to do is just sit in lane. And by just sitting in lane, you present yourself as a possible target. Plus, you're a bit overextended. Notice how when the hunters position themselves from this role, they'll not generally position themselves just in range to be able to jump exactly back to tower. The rollout was used on Rama. But with you playing Ullr, you can do the leap back to tower with this sort of distance where I am right now with the camera. So, if you consider this, you're being too far forward. And with that Apollo ult coming out, you think he's rotating elsewhere, and then immediately you realise, hang on a second, Thor's there, Thor missed his dunk, unfortunately, but they're still looking for aggression onto you. And this aggression dissipates, but it was aggressed on by you because you were too over-aggressive, and now you're going to eat more poke damage again. You're not respecting what they are doing. Let's have a little look one more time at this fight. So you're on full car down for the moment. You take a lot of poke damage. Max range, max range, max range. We're at max range. We're at max range. We're at max range. Who we're focusing on? We're focusing on Apollo. Thor comes in. We should be backing away immediately. We are doing. Max range, max range, max range. Doesn't turn around. Pleased about that because you can get hit by the double tap. When you path back to tower though, just to be clear guys, when you're a hunter or anyone in these lanes and the tower's hugging the wall like this, there's a wall like this in every single one of these towers. Never try and go through this gap because it means this shot is easier to land on you. Technically, if you get fired at from here, it's a lot easier to just aim it through this gap and have a higher chance of hitting you than this wide open space over here. You have to channel yourself through that gap there. It gives you more opportunity of you dying. So try and use the wide open space. Boots online, sprint 1, 1 health pop, 1 ward. Sorry, 2 wards. Good, 2 wards. Nice. Farm, farm, farm. Good chance to go aggressive there. Back away from the aggression. Good. Look at your positioning this time. This time, even though the gank's now not there anymore, your position is better. You're still in you're more likely in leap range here. You're not overextended this time around like you were a few seconds ago in the last engagement. You look for the poke, but you miss it. You notice how you missed your axe and still threw out the 1? I don't know why you threw out the bladed arrow there. By throwing out the bladed arrow, you wasted your wave clear. And now you're going to get pushed to tower again. So now you've got to back up, wait for your wave clear to come back up with your bladed arrow, and take free poke from Apollo. Choose your fights wisely. Choose your fights wisely. He's overextended here. Why are we trading him? You're trying to make a play. You're making a play here. He's trying to make a play, but you're also making a play by trying to fight him. Instead of just backing away. There's no reason to fight. You don't have lifesteal either, so he does. So after that trade, right now, and everything that's gone on, he's actually at the same HP as you. You've got a full minion wave coming, but you don't have as much lifesteal as him. So that trade was pointless. For both of you, technically. But he was looking to back to base anyway. Pointless trades are pointless. Back away and fine with that, then back to farming again. Minions are pushed. What are we going to do? We're going to base. Are we going to base? We're just going to sit in lane and wait. Just going to sit in lane and wait. Is that all we're doing for all this length of time? Could we have based? Could we have rotated and took speed buff and got some experience from that? What could we have done here? There could have been something we could have done. Now are you rotating your jungle to get away from it, which I'm pleased about. You could have soaked up speed from the experience from the speed buff. That would have been nice. In the end, you just hung around for a very, very long time and didn't really do anything with it. I mean, you had just under 1,000 gold there. You could have gone back and started working on your boots 2 online. Could have upgraded your beads, your sprint. Any of those things were an opportunity for you. What are we doing now? Still just going to farm. I guess we're just going to save for... I mean, we don't have to base. I'm just thinking about other options that you could do instead of trying to do these crazy little 1v1 trades. Okay, you lost a trade and backed away. I agree with that. That was much better. This time around, you're respecting Apollo a little bit more. Farm the wave first. Good repositioning. You take a lot of... Why were we guessing? Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't even look like that. Look at that. What's this axe dancing? Like, yeah, let's fight. No, we ain't fighting. We ain't fighting. That's better. That's better. They want to dive. You'll deal with it when they dive. That axe dance aggression that you showed them was very, very scary. Very scary.
Your left tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
So you're level 12 right now. Apollo's level 14 because you've lost some minion waves to the tower overall. Plus they got a Gold Fury. Looking at the itemization builds, can you trade with him? Probably you could, but at the same time the Warrior Tabby will make a difference. On top of that, the lifesteal as well. So overall, what would we be doing? Farming. You eat poke to the face, you don't return anything, then you start returning. You lost a trade and you're now trying to... This is exactly the same thing we were talking about, guys, in terms of hunters. When the hunters from the Pro League play, if they start losing a trade, they back away and just reset it. What Joe's doing here, right now, is he lost a trade, and now he's trying to make the trade even again. But is he making it even? That's the question. Because right now, it's now even. He gets mezzed out, he's taking a lot of poke, he's been forced beads on himself as well, and look who won the trade. Look who won the trade overall. Lifesteal paid off for him. The mez paid off. Both of them used beads overall. So what does Joe get out of that? Nothing. Joe lost an engagement that he didn't even need to have. He could have just backed away. He lost a trade, wait for the minion waves, and then farm. Instead, he wasted mana. So now he's got everything on cooldown for the moment for actually clearing this wave when it comes in. And he's put some free tower pressure on for Apollo. Good news is, Apollo makes a mistake of overextending and trying to get free tower shots off instead of backing away, so Joe picks up the kill. But that was more thanks to Apollo's mistakes than Joe's good play, in all honesty. Joe didn't have to get in that situation in the beginning.
Your right tower is under attack. Always rejuvenate.
Now here's the thing. In the games we've seen so far from the pro players, we watched Paradox and we watched Reels today, did they go aggressive and start hitting the towers at this stage? Both these two hunters in this game have at 15 minutes in the game. They've not overextended that far because they respected the fact that they could get rotated on or be in a lot of trouble by doing it. There's a Thor in this game as well, so overextending this far is very, very risky, and that little bit of tower pressure is not going to bring the tower down just yet. And you've got gold in your inventory right now. You could look to go back to base, buy some items with this. But now 50 gold and you should be going back to base anyway. Sorry, 100 gold. You should be going back to base for all your boots. Much better hanging around under your tower this time though. I like the decision. You're realising the trades are not going well. Notice how this free time. Right now, you're staying again for a fight and you're trying to poke down for no reason. You've got gold, you can get your Warrior Tabby online right now. You have the gold for it. There's no minions here. You could be rotating for these mid camps which are available too, supporting your team. You've also got war coverage so you can see exactly where they all are on the map. So you should know there's 3 of them in this area right now thanks to this ward you've got here. You'll know where they're in that area. But instead you're choosing to trade instead of go back to tower. And once again you start losing the trades. And you're still trying to trade. Spamming your abilities to try and trade with people, it's not working out for you all the time. I know Ullr's a fighter, but you have to pick your fights. Now you lost tower pressure again. A lot more poking your tower. Your tower's going to go down sooner rather than later. We're focusing the Apollo, but Apollo's out of range. Good decision to change target. Pleased with that. Notice that's exactly like the pro players do. They'll look at going for the most important target, which is Apollo, but when he's out of range, doesn't go in. Aggressive leap in an axe, unfortunately doesn't land. Did we need to leap in an axe? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Did we need to leap in? Does he even live? Wow, this is deep. This is deep. I'm glad you've actually chose not to continue chasing that. But we'll go right back to this rest of the fight. You went for Apollo. He was in range. He was primary target. So I agree with going for that. But the moment you realised he was out, you went back, picked up the Ymir. It was a good decision to do that. Now comes the question whether it was worthwhile leaping in to close the distance. Well, Loki's going to go in, as is Ares. And Apollo's staying to trade. So you don't need to jump. You don't need to jump yet, because you are now closing the distance just by walking forward. Your normal walking forward pace is faster than a backpedaling pace of a player. So, just by walking forward, you were already in range when you leapt. You were already in range for autos when you leapt. You had an Ares there for the chains. You don't need this leap. This leap was unrequired overall. So you're putting your ability to escape on cooldown for closing the gap. You could have used Axe, honestly, if you wanted to try and go for that. And then even if he did leap away to here, you would have still been walking forward, firing auto attacks. You would have been about this position anyway, and he would have been forced over this side. He would have then moved over here, then you could have jumped in, and then finished him off from this angle, because you would have been exactly on top of him here, if you chose to leap later on. I'm really pleased at the very last second you changed your mind, though, not to continue going aggressive there. Support from your team's fine to go and clear that one down. And then back away once again. This minion wave, now I'm interested in what you do after this minion wave, because you've got 730 gold. Could base if you want to, or is there anything else you can do? Is there anything else you can do? Awesome, go do back harpies. Nice. Soak up some extra experience. Go back to lane, farm again. Oh, go Fury fight. Where we position ourselves. Max distance. Good. Good max distance. Why are we chasing? No, 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 no. Don't be chasing. Don't be chasing. Don't be chasing. Oh, I'm so glad you didn't chase. That'd have gone wrong for you. Stay at max distance. Poke what's in front of you. Prioritize targets. Prioritize targets. Prioritize targets. We'll talk about this again. You nearly went ham for that Apollo when it would have cost you big. The axe was good. And the poke's good here too. The hitting onto Ymir's good, but right now, priority should be changing to him. The moment he's backing away, priority should be changing to this guy. He's the damage dealer. On top of that, you've got a teammate coming in, but he's the one you need to focus because he's now a priority target. But you don't. You still keep going for this guy, and then you're like, oh god, he's in my face. Force the sprint. Good decision to back away. Relocate to max range. Are we just going to back away from this fight? I think it's a good decision to back away from this fight and just get out of trouble as the snipe comes through. Oh, to the mouth! To the mouth. That was just wall placement that got you killed. But prioritizing targets, it's important. Rampage.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Speed up, there we go. It's back alive again. Oops, a daisy. Right, we go, into the game. Follow him one more time. Now you're on defense here. That was a nice ult coming out from Janus. Now, I'm okay with this chase. This chase is okay. The reason it's okay is because you saw the rest of the team trying to disengage. You also saw that Ra over there is on half HP and he's trying to disengage and he's out of mana. I don't mind you going aggressive in these situations when you can technically chase down a kill if you can get an axe off. So this isn't a bad play overall. Axe is going to land, but great beads coming out from that 4. That's going to really upset you more than likely. Relax a little bit on your autos. I know you're trying to close the gap at the same time, but relax a little bit on your autos and you would have landed more of those. As soon as you miss one, just stop for a second, hang for that 1 second and relocate your auto attacks, because the first one misses, generally the second and third one will as well, unless you immediately correct it. So we're rotating over the rest of the map now. We're looking for ganking opportunities here. Using the leap to close the gap. Did we need to use the leap? Did we need to use the leap? I know you got the kill. But what could you have done? Well, let's look at this. You've got 2 members coming around this side. You've got Loki this side. Do you have to leap over the wall? If there's a counter engage from, I don't know, anyone, say Poseidon's over here and you don't even realise it yet, but say Poseidon's around here, You could be coming down the lane or whatever, and you use your leap into this situation, you could set yourself up for a bad time. What you could do in this situation, this is just a decision in play more than anything, is just walk around this way. Just walk around this way. You're not burning your escape abilities to do that. You walk around this side, you cut off his option of escape. And if you notice during this fight, when he actually does go for the escape, he runs that direction anyway with the moves. You still get chased down, but if you would have just walked around, you still would have had the same option, and you still would have had your leap available. Might be a low cooldown, but it's always risky. Good decision to push. Whoa, why are we overextended? What are we doing? Farm the wave, get out of dodge. Where's your team? What are you doing? Good night, sweet mighty Joe. We will wave at you right now, because you're in a world of hurts. Have fun with this one. Have fun with this one. That's a Kraken to the mouth. Not good. So that fight was your own fault. If your team dies from this, this is your fault too. Just as a heads up. You might be able to trade back. I don't know if they will. It looks like it's going to be... They got Poseidon out of it. I mean, it's a 1 for 0 when you killed Apollo. And then you could have pushed that wave and backed off. Instead you chose tower, and you made it a 1 for 1. Then Poseidon goes down, makes it a 1 for 2. But it looks like we're going to see Giannis go down here as well, unless he makes an amazing play. Ooh. Ooh, that was sexy. Ooh. Oh, Giannis! With these portals, you make us so excited. Curse my body. The whole fight was crazy, and it was your doing. That's the biggest point to take out of this, Joe. You caused this whole situation we're watching right now on the map, and now Apollo's coming in for the cleanup. And if you remember, Apollo was the first target in this game. So, now it's a 2 for 2 trade. Giannis and you have died, Apollo and Poseidon has died, but now who's in a better position to continue cleaning this one up? Looks like Apollo's going to get another kill, making it a 3 for 2 trade. Loki's back, but Loki's going to be surrounded by 3 members now, and he's trying to chase down a kill. Are you back alive yet? Nope, still not alive. It's still a 3 for 2 trade in favour of the red team. And how did this fight happen? You made this fight happen. We'll pause for a second, because sometimes people don't realise that their little mistake could be the snowball or catalyst of something that goes on further. So Joe's decision there to try and pressure the tower got his team into a fight that went 3 for 2 and actually gave Apollo a double kill. And Apollo was the first person to die. They got a 1-0 trade. Joe overextended and died. But then his team came to support and that fight developed and developed and developed. Apollo respawned, gets himself a double kill. And now the situation changes once again in the game. Has Joe done anything wrong up to this point? Not really. A couple of bad trades in lane. But just that one little team fight. And then you'll look at the rest of your team and go, oh my god team, why didn't you do anything? And you might look back and go, actually, that was my mistake. That was my mistake. Think about your own mistakes before you look at others, because everybody makes them. Everybody makes them. Back alive again. So back to farming now. I like the decision to go straight back to the farm. There's a lot of build up over on this side of the map. This is the call once again, right? This is what we were talking about with the pro players, and we watched this back. But right now there's a minion wave of farm here. Remember this, guys? Minion wave of farm. They don't rotate when there's minion waves waiting for you. They actually rotate after they farm the minion wave. Loki's 1v3. That's Loki's own fault right now. Are you going to be able to get there and probably save him? Probably not. But you're going to come anyway. And what does this mean for you? Well, you're missing farm, first of all. And now you're going to come in from an angle that's not great for you. So it's going to force out your leap. Position, position, position yourself, position yourself. We're in axe standstill. Position yourself, get archer arrows out. Who's going to be the target? 2 targets have been pulled here right now. You've got Ra and you've got Apollo. When they get pulled in, who's going to be the priority? Which one are you going to choose? Which one are you going to choose? Whichever one's there. Axe to the mouth. Good. Poke. But if we would have gone archer you didn't really need the axe straight afterwards because you would have got free poke off on him and he probably would have died anyway. But if you position yourself at max range away from Ares, this Kraken would not have hit you, as number 1 example. Now you were stuck in the cripple, you didn't have a leap available, got to back away because you're low health now. You're still trying to poke down, but the longer you stick around, stay at max range, max range, max range, max range, no beads left on cooldown, unfortunately for you, and you can probably die, so you made a good jump away actually. Good axe to the face, get out of trouble, back to the safety of your tower. It wasn't the greatest play from you, but it wasn't the worst play in the world either. Wasn't the worst play in the world either. Like the max range distance you put on yourself there at this fire giant, you're not trying to be right up close to it, you're using your full distance. Those coming down. Target priorities, target priorities, target priorities. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we still trying to fight here? We should not be trying to fight here. 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 Even if you win this fight, this was a terrible decision to fight. We should not be trying to fight there. We should be relocating. We should be relocating the moment he lands on your face. What should have happened? He's in your face right now. Immediately switch stance, jump away, relocate to over here. That's exactly what should be going through your head. You've got a low opportunity to relocate to here. You've got an opportunity to relocate to here. This puts the distance between you and this Apollo. Apollo then can get swarmed by the team, and you're at max distance for escape and staying alive and not eating full damage. Now you do live, but you take so much poke and so much damage from this fight that it means that you are not going to be in a great position for continuation of a fight if it so develops and continues further. Right now, you're going to have to look to base, or you're going to put yourself in a position where you're very, very aggressive. And you could actually go down. Now we're basing, as expected. Continue with the iron build. Iron build's fine.
Your team has destroyed triple enemy
Keep the farm going. He's just gone to crazy team fights because this is ranked and this is what happens sometimes. Hit level 20. How's our gold looking? 1700. Sorry, 1100. 1200 on Apollo still. Even though you were heading kills. See that? Even though you were heading kills, you're still technically behind in terms of gold between the two of you. He's just out farming you overall. He's making his decisions on farming a little bit better. Stop doing these leap-ins to close the gap as well. Like, you've done that a couple of times now. If you would have leapt here, do you have vision? That's the question. You have vision of this ward here. If Poseidon just walked up as this was going on, which he could have done, and you'd already leapt, he'd crack and you're dead because you ain't got no escape left whatsoever because you use your leap to engage. Stop using your leaps to engage. Stay in your max distances. Rely on the rest of the team to provide the CC. Your axe travels a long distance too. Oops. Bit of a misclick on that one. Farm, 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 farm. We're rotating to now. We're going to try and pick up Apollo again. Now we should be sticking with our team and sitting on the back line for your team. Why are we backing? Why are we backing? Why are we backing? We're looking for rage. Is this the right time to rage, guys? Is this the right time to go back to base and get rage? Because that's exactly what he's looking to do. In this situation right now, his team are all grouped up. They've forced out the Apollo ult. Apollo's shown in left-hand lane. He's got opportunity to either A, go and defend this, or push into the tower. Is this a good decision? It's a 50-50 decision in all honesty, because he can push onto the tower and get a tier 2 with his team, but there's no minion wave here. There's only these 3 million minions now quickly get destroyed by Apollo. Sorry, by Poseidon. And he needs to go back to base and get rage. At the same time, Apollo is currently split pushing, which he's aware of as well. So is this a good decision? In my eyes, yes, it is a good decision. Because he's going to be able to stop Apollo, continue his itemization build, and realistically, on this side of the map right now, he's not going to be able to get the tower pressure on. He might be able to, but it's probably going to be a trade Phoenix for Phoenix. It's not a bad decision to recall, but he's got to be quick on the recall and get over there as fast as he can. Minion focus, not God focus, that's good. Not scared to fight now under his tower, perfect, good aggression. Keep the aggression going. Minions first, minions first, minions first, minions first. Minions first. This is where the fight went wrong for you. Because you're looking for the kill now, and you should be going minions first more than anything else. By going minions first, you'd actually win that trade overall. I think, if we actually check it out, I want to just see it back for what happened. So, we really rewind that far back? Come on. Come on now. We'll try and slow it down just to watch this fight again in a little bit more detail. Good axe. They're just auto attacks, which is perfect. Leap after to close the gap. That one there that you will look to try and finish him with, if you would have used that on the minions, the minion wave would have been gone there. This trade, he would have had to continue running away from you. He wouldn't be able to trade back to you. But because you tried to use the one and kill him, and it didn't actually succeed, it means he could turn the aggression back onto you one more time, and now you're the one at the disadvantage, because of the extra lifesteal he's got. Luckily though, Loki's here to try and save the day, but he missed assassinate, and that's all she wrote. We're talking in chat. Let's stop that. Stop typing in chat, guys. You all do it too much. I don't know why. What's that axe for? What was that axe for? What's that axe gonna do? What is that axe gonna do? You might want to ask him a question, but at the same time, like, the answer's gonna be nothing. It's not gonna do anything. It's just a pointless waste of mana and a pointless cooldown that you've just put on for yourself for no reason. And now if he approaches you from the backside here, which he could well have done, you're gonna be in trouble. And I mean, stop talking in your games, not in chat. Stop talking in your games with random stuff to your teammates when you're not happy with how they're playing. You see how we're not max range again, Joe? This happens with you a lot in this game, and this is your biggest weakness by the looks of it. Is this ham police, is what we're going to call it. The ham police. We are a ranged character, yet I will stand and kiss your very beautiful lips with my bow. So much so that it passes through your head. Basically, the arrow's already in his head when you're hitting him. This is how close you keep getting in these engagements time and time again, and I'm not exactly sure why you're doing it. You don't have to be this close. Max range! Max range! Every hunter you've seen so far today, guys, in the pro games have always been max range. The entire time. Now we're at max range again, which is good. But now we're chasing kills, or are we? Good! You didn't chase. You focus on the nearest target. You can choose to close the gap here. I wouldn't necessarily use your jump. I'd just use your speed up with your axes. Then switch back to axe stance once you're in range again. You get caught on a wall. Oh, don't do it. Don't you do it. I can't remember if he did it or not. No, he walks around. Okay. You just use axes. What's this? What's this? Ham police! Engage! I'm just going to fly through the air, surrounded by 3 people, in a 2v1 scenario, where Chuck's zoned out. I am the hero we need. I am Ullr. Hear me roar. I want to get in your face and give you a kiss one more time. How does this work out for you? Well, let's find out. We're now in melee range with 3 gods. One that's going to dunk down on your face. Another one that's got a whirlpool as well. Trying to kiss this Thor once again. Give him a big smooch with your arrows. And in doing so, you eat it. Was that worth it? Even if they both die, it's still not worth it in my eyes. It looks like they're not going to. Who made that engagement, guys? It was Ullr. Ullr made the engagement. So, what should have changed? Well, let's see how the fight plays out again, and we'll stop exactly where we'd suggest to stop. So, you speed yourself up, Giannis jumps in, and immediately you see Loki goes down, and as does Giannis, and you're still pinned on the wall here. And at this point in time, you're like, hang on a minute. There's 3 guys here. There's only me and Chuck left alive. Can we really do anything? Well, maybe we can turn the fight. But why are you jumping into this? Why are you not just switching to Archer stance here and supporting your Chuck? They're going to regress onto Chuck because he's on the front line, which means you can start Archer. Arrows, 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 arrows. One of them rolls at the corner. Arrows, arrows, arrows. You should be hitting him with arrows right now. Instead, you're going in aggressive, looking for a kill. For some reason, you seem to have turned into some sort of Olympian frontline tank. You seem to think that because Ares died, you now have a sovereignty in your kit, and you're going to go aggressive. And in doing so, you pay with your life. You should have stayed at max distance. You would have lived. It would have all been good. Give me glory or give me death, chat says, and that's the truth. Really bad fight. Didn't need to happen. Ham police. So 2 things I've seen you do that have been pretty detrimental to you so far. That push on left side, cost you, right side, you cost your team a lot. And that death as well there has now cost you a fire giant by the looks of it. Back online. Just gonna go for the hero play. Good, push the lane out. There's nothing for you to fight, so go farm. Keep pushing. God Fury's coming up soon. You can try and do that on your own if you want to. Like that your bot was. Why are we going to banter base again? Are we going off for something? What are we base for? What are we base for? The split push. Okay. I was confused by the base, but you stopped the split push from Apollo. That's fine.
under attack.
They got the fire giant, and it was because of that big engagement that all went down.
Feels like it should. I'm off. This.
See, that was a bit better. That was a little bit better. It should have been done a little bit earlier, but you went to the disengage the moment you were under pressure there, but you didn't disengage as quick as you could have. But as soon as you started losing the trade, disengage, and that's what you did. A little bit slow, but you got the idea.
That was close. I must try a different approach.
If you disengaged a little bit earlier, you wouldn't have had to go back to base, because you could have just farmed up. Oh, overextended, overextended, overextended. Max distance, max distance, max distance, max distance, max distance. Every single time, max distance. This is better max distance.
You walked right into my trap. Your team has destroyed your middle right troops under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Your middle fleet.
Nothing you can do in this situation.
My arrow will find you.
The game's pretty much coming to a close here, I feel.
Bullseye, swift arrow. I got you right where I want you. Incoming!
Continuing to farm, which is good. Positioning. Let's see how you do this one out.
That one had your name on it.
Good leap away. They're still going aggressive. Max distance. Max distance. Max distance. Max distance. Max distance. Much better on the max distance. Max distance. Max distance. Max distance. Prioritize target. Yes, prioritize the target is good. Very good. Oh, this is risky. Oh, this is risky. That was risky. But it kind of worked out okay. The leap was risky. Remember what we said about prioritizing targets? When they come out of range, you don't see the other hunters in the other games going ham to the leather trying to kill them. It was probably like an 80% chance though, so I can understand it. The beads was used. Now we're looking for the push with the opportunity. Good decision to base there, not continue pushing. You could have got ganged from the Poseidon who was waiting. You didn't know that, but that was why you just chose the base, and it was smart to do so. Ba 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 ba. Decision making time. You've got your mirror in the other lane, you get focused on good beads and jump away. Great relocation, turn round, look for the refight again. Max distance, max distance, max distance, support your team. Max distance, max distance. That's all I'm looking for from you now. Because this seems to be the biggest issue, at least during the early stages of the game, that you're going too aggressive and not sticking to priority target. Good, priority target one's down. Next target, Thor. Thor's in range, Thor's in range, Thor's in range. Apollo, Apollo, Apollo. Good decision to try and relocate. You realise your mirror was up in your face. You go down.
Double kill. Deicide.
So what can Joe take out of this game? Well, from Joe's point of view in this game, he made a couple of mistakes in trades in lane overall. He didn't have to trade where he chose to trade.
You're tight.
He didn't have to trade where he chose to trade. He could have sat back and been a little bit more patient. He could have waited around and just backed away from the engagement when he went wrong from it initially. And then he wouldn't have had to go back to base as often. He wouldn't have lost as much tower pressure or as much minion farm early on. Some of his decisions in the team fights as well, he keeps diving in to the front line instead of staying at his max distance and using his leap for escape. Now Ullr can be very aggressive because of his axe and the amount of burst he's got, but in doing so he puts himself in a bit of a bad spot. Now Ullr technically does have available to him as well his speed up, which a lot of Ullrs use at the later stages of the game, which is the invigorate. Now the invigorate gives you 40% movement speed buff, so why not use that to close the gap when you're out of the way? Smash your axes above your head and walk forward. Save the leap for when you really need to. Don't be trying to use it really aggressively like he was doing, and continue to position himself in the fight and prioritize the targets. If the fight's bad, disengage overall. 2 fights in that went very bad for Joe and cost his team something. I'm not going to say Joe cost the whole game because he didn't, and I'm not looking at the other players in the game because that's not what I was there to do. What I'm there to look at really is what Joe did in that game. Joe forced a fight on the right hand side by overextending after the team getting a kill, and then again when he went aggressive after his teammates died on the engagement, he jumped in to continue the aggression and cost a full deicide pretty much for his entire team, which gave up the fire giant as well. So going forward in Joe's games, what he really needs to do is look at fighting better in the lane scenario and making sure he doesn't lose trades. And if he does start to lose a trade, doesn't lose them as heavily, so backs away immediately and just looks to the farm game, stops trying to trade so so often with his lane opponent. And then in the team fight scenarios is to position a little bit better and prioritize targets and not chase. Chasing was really important in that. He did chase for some kills, and when he did in some circumstances there, he died, and sometimes he could have got caught out and lived. But he lived at some of them, but he could have actually died as well if he'd not realised his positioning. And that's the end.